Have you ever wondered how much power it takes to run an arcade? Maybe an arcade one-up? What about your main machine? Maybe a digital pinball machine? How much power does it take? Well, you came to the right place. Here I was sitting there getting ready to run into town today, and all of a sudden my good buddy, the Retro Arcade Music Man, sends me a text, and he says, check this out, with a link. And I go, and there, who is it? 10 Minute Gamer. He's doing a video, and he started talking about running video games on solar because I had mentioned something in one of his comments. So he talked about solar. I'll leave a link in the description for not only his video where he talks about running solar and stuff at his house, but Retro Arcade Music Man, since he's the one that got me going on this. But 10 Minute Gamer, you inspired me. So here's the video. Check it out. Hello YouTube, back with another video, and today, as the thumbnail suggested, I am finally coming around to how much power does an off-grid arcade take. It is windy, and I have the door open to the arcade because to let a little extra light so we can see the meters and stuff. So if the door is blowing around, sorry. Anyway, as you can see on the meter, which I should have on the screen one way or the other, I haven't decided yet. Right now the arcade is plugged in to the kilowatt meter, and it is reading 4.7 watts. 4.7 watts, and that's with it off. That's just plugged in, not doing anything. So let's power this thing up and see what happens to the wattage. Here it comes. Here it comes. I got it. Probably have an edit in there. Pull this door. So it looks like we're pulling 22 watts, 21.8, 22.7. And let's probably, if I just go into the Dragon's Lair screen, it'll probably give us a good idea of how much power. Of course, there goes the door again. I walk away from the door and then it blows open. I'll let it go into the Dragon's Lair part. Turn up the volume to a normal level so we get a fair test.
Dragon's Lair.
Let's see. We have 25, 26 watts.
You control the actions of a daring adventurer finding his way to the
bad.
castle of a dark wizard who has enchanted it with treacherous monsters.
Look at the dust on that screen. 25.8 watts.
In the mysterious caverns below the castle, your odyssey
So about 26 watts. 26 watts.
The Dragon's Lair.
That's not too bad.
Lead on, adventurer.
Let me get out of that. And let's shut her down, and I will switch to my other plug. I'm not going to do the At Games Legends power right now because those are all run through USB. What I am going to do is the Arcade 1-Up Star Wars, my main machine, which is run off of a Raspberry Pi and has an LCD screen. And then the last thing I'm going to do, and Dust Devil just drove by. The last thing I'm going to do is that pinball machine. Pinball machine has dual monitors. It's run on a pretty good quad-core computer with a decent but not great video card. Running 2 monitors. The back glass monitor is actually a CRT, so that draws a lot of power. But let's move on to the Arcade 1-Up. I'll do a quick edit. We'll okay, so I edited that. Okay. As you can see, I'll pull this door closed. The blue light came on that's behind the Star Wars. The blue light came on that's behind, actually under the pinball machine. And what are we pulling now? We are pulling blurry watts. We are already pulling. Oh. There we go. That was telling me the voltage. So we are pulling 20 watts. This thing doesn't want to focus on. We're pulling 20 watts. So we'll just have to do the math on these because I don't want to turn off all my lights and all that. This is with the everything in standby mode. So there is a little bit of draw coming on from some of the stuff, but the pinball machine is turned off, the main machine is turned off, and this is turned off. So let's fire this up and see where this goes. So immediately it went up to 25, 30, 35. So you can see how much more the Arcade 1-Up draws than the iArcade. That's kind of surprising to me. And let's go into the game here. See if it goes up any more. The Force will be with us.
Red 5 standing by.
Red 5 standing by. So now I'm playing and I'm looking the other way. Yeah, so it's holding out about 35 watts. All right. So that's that. Let me kick that off and we'll let it reset. Okay, remember though, wait, yeah, I'm an idiot. 35 watts, but 20 of it was the other stuff. So the Arcade 1-Up only pulled another 15 watts or so. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. The Arcade 1, that's more what I expected because the iArcade has a bigger screen. So that pulling the watts, which what was it, 25? The real number will be up on the screen. 25 and this pulling 15. That's more what I expected. I completely forgot that was that. It's the 20 watts that it's pulling to begin with. So let me go over, rearrange the cameras, which is really just turning this camera, and let me fire up that main machine. I'll be right back in a second. Okay, so I'm back. I had to disconnect some wires. I don't know what's going on. The power has dropped to between 14 and 15 watts now with everything turned off. I don't know what was causing the drop from 20. I'm just glad it was at 20 before I started Star Wars and 20 when I turned it back off. But let me fire up this machine and see what happens. Power just went on. The screen lights came on. And yeah, it's booting. We are up to 46, 48, 49, 50. Oh, there it goes, 50. RetroPie is loading. Now remember we had a 14 watt. We'll go with the low side, 14, so we're seeing what this thing's drawing. And here we go. I'll load in the MAME and we'll start up Donkey Kong. It looks like it's hanging right around 50. I wouldn't imagine it goes up much more once it's started. It's not like it's going to draw a lot of power to run an older ROM. Yeah, it's hanging right around 50. All right, so 50 minus 14, that gives us what? 36? 36 watts about. I'm playing backwards. All right. So let me shut this back off. He was trying to kill me. God, I always forget which one. Shut down the system. Really shut down. Yes. Turn that off, and let's make sure our baseline goes back to 14 watts. And it did. We are back to 14 watts. Excellent. Okay. So now I am going to move this camera over here somehow so I can see the pinball machine better. And we're going to fire up some pinball and watch that kilowatt meter jump. Okay. Okay, so I'm back. There's no real good way to get this on camera. I will tell you this, that I do have an issue with my battery, the CMOS battery in my pinball machine. So sometimes when I boot up, it's going to tell me to hit F1. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up the TV that runs the playfield. So that's pulling up right now. And you can see it automatically jumped all the way up to 39 watts. 39 watts just to have the TV on. So let's fire this up. Before it even booted, we are at 150, 180, 220. Yeah, there's that F1. I got to get a new battery for my CMOS because it always tells me that it lost the time and date. So now, while it's rebooting, let's see what we got. 100. Here comes the screen back on. I heard it. So we're up to 200. I don't think it's really going to be that important to remember the 14 watts or whatever it started at before I turn this on, because this thing's going to suck up some juice. But I'm not worried. I'm not worried. All right, so the computer is booted, and we are pulling about 246, 200. Yeah, it's bouncing between 230 and 260. It looks like. And let me start Pinball X. That'll load up the some of the pinball stuff. So we're now around 270, 280. And that's just running the I'll actually load up the table and launch a ball and see what kind of numbers we're getting. And I picked one that takes a long time to boot. That's okay. So you can see, I mean, if I have everything on at once, it's going to take, what? If I turned everything on, we'd be pulling maybe 300 watts. All right, so the ball is launched. Well, we're pulling 320 now, 315. So I'll pull that, I will pull that 14 watts out-ish. And we'll say with a game running, I'm pulling about 300 watts with this table. Of course, if it's on, everything's, you know, that's the table by itself. But if it's on, I got something on my eyelash, it looks like. No, it's just on my eye. If it's on, everything else is on too. So while I am playing, this is what I'm pulling.
about 320 watts. 320 watts. Now, I have 4,000 watts of solar. So if I'm playing during the day, and especially like now the batteries are at 100%, it's all running right off the panels. But and just for the heck of it, let me I will test Pinball FX3 just to see if that draws any more power to run FX3. So I gotta run that first, and then FX3. I would be shocked if this pulls any more power than, you know, VPX, but who knows? It might. It just might. Yeah. It gives me this error sometimes. It's like, hey, I can't connect to the internet. Well, you are connected though. Let's go into a single player game, and I will pick. I'm in the Wild West, so let's just do single player. No, I didn't do any upgrades.
You can best tell a town by its saloon.
And let's see.
Good for me, bad for them.
Yeah, it looks like it's pulling around 300.
Oh well, it takes practice.
Same, about 315, 320. So that's about what I would expect. You know, it's going to pull about the same amount of watts. All right, so let me.
I'll be back.
If you ain't happy here, allow me to saddle up your horse, darling.
Okay, let me pause this, and I'll come back to where you can see me on camera, because I know that's what you guys are all wanting to see. Okay, the pinball machine's shutting down, which we should see on the kilowatt meter in just a second here. Let me pull this chair over here so I can see better. So as you could see, my foot fell off the chair. The pinball by far draws the most power. Like I said, the Legends Gamer Pro, I didn't even do that one because it basically runs off of USB ports. The TV is going to be the biggest draw. It runs off of a 32-inch TV, which probably draws about 30 watts. And then the game unit itself, the control deck is USB powered, and the puck is USB powered. So those don't pull a whole lot of amps, a whole lot of watts. So if I had to guess, if you take out the TV, which that's not accurate, so you got to put the TV in with, so 30 watts there, and maybe 3 watts more. So I'll say 35 to be safe. 35 watts. It looks like the Arcade 1-Up Star Wars was the big winner at about 15 watts. I'll have the real numbers on the screen. Followed by the iArcade, which was at about 25 watts. I don't remember what this was now. I gotta check the numbers. See, now it says we're pulling 30, almost 40 watts. Is that 38 watts? With the pinball machine turned off. So I don't know what that computer is drawing. I can turn off the switch, and it turns off because now there's no power going to any of this. The only thing that has power going to it right now is the At Games, and I didn't even plug the arcade back in. So if you want to do rough math, if I were to turn everything on, and I'll put real math on the screen here, but rough math just so I can talk. What are you talking? 300, 330, 345, that, and then another 25, 345, then 350, 370. What was this? 30-ish? I don't remember. So maybe 400 watts, 400, 450 if I want to be crazy with it. Now 450 watts. Now there is some signal loss or some power loss because I'm taking DC solar panels, turning them into AC, and then they come back in here. So it's not a straight translation. The number of amps that I'm pulling out of this trailer at any given moment, it takes a little bit more amps out of my batteries, but not a whole lot. And I didn't even get into the amps on the kilowatt meter. Those kilowatt meters are just brilliant. If you guys have never seen one, they're relatively cheap. You just plug it into the wall, and then you plug in whatever you want to test, and it will tell you how many watts, how many amps, everything. It'll tell you what is going on. It'll tell you the voltage that's at your outlet. It's if you're going to be off grid or do any solar stuff, it's almost a requirement, because you'll buy things and they'll say, oh yeah, this is rated at, we have a microwave that's rated at 700 watts, and I tested it, and it runs between 950 and 1,000 watts when it's running. It's not pulling 700 watts like it says. So when you're running on a fixed number of watts, you want to know what you got going on. So anyway, I hope this was informative. I hope you liked this video. There wasn't much gameplay except for that little bit of pinball at the very end. The next closest, oh no, I guess I did play a little bit of Star Wars just to see, and we let the Dragon's Lair go. But yeah, so I can run this thing during the day, all day long if I want, when the sun is out. And at nighttime, I try to be a little careful, if I'm playing in the evening after the sun goes down. But there are times, especially in the summertime, it's so hot, and we wait until the sun goes down, and Kelly and I will come out here and play pinball for 2 hours, just having fun. And we just don't worry about it, because the next morning, as soon as the sun comes up, we play 2 hours of pinball after the sun goes down, and I can replenish that in about 20 minutes of full sun when the sun's up high. So I'm not overly concerned. So I'm going to end this video right here. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, share it if you know people that live off grid and think they can't run an iArcade. Send them here and say, yes, you can. You can do it. I want to get that arcade one up, but I live off grid. I can't run an arcade. Send them here. Send them here. And we'll get them playing, because that's what it's all about. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.